Thank you to all my channel members, including my fan appreciation level members and my contributor level members, for helping support the YouTube channel. Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Jonathan Cohn, and today I have my book review of the book Requiem for the Sun by Elizabeth Haydn. This is one of the books in her Symphony of Ages saga. She wrote basically 3 trilogies in this series, and this is the start of the second trilogy. And it's been a couple of years since I've talked about this series, so a couple of years ago I picked up Rhapsody, and I absolutely loved it. I was so enthralled by this. It gave me the Wheel of Time type world building with wacky plots and just really deep, rich themes that I loved. And then I read the sequel, Prophecy, which it was okay. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it, but it just it didn't wow me. And so, but I did decide to finish that original trilogy with Destiny, which is another superb book. And I absolutely loved reading Destiny. And it's a pretty long one too, but I loved it. And so after finishing that original trilogy of books in the Symphony of Ages, I shelved the series for a while. I've had the second trilogy in paperback on my shelves for quite a long time, but I just, I didn't feel the necessity to, and in 2025 I said I want to read that trilogy in the first quarter. So I picked up Requiem for the Sun, which is about 600 pages long, which is about the length of the first 2 books in the series. It's about the same length, I would say. And I was excited to see what new direction Elizabeth Haydn took the characters. And there are some things in this book that are done superbly well. Some scenes, some character moments, some interactions, some moments, some action scenes I loved so much. There's also so much boringness in this book that I just didn't care for, couldn't stand. And so the book kind of oscillates between awesome and boring. And that's really an unfortunate thing for a book to have because it results in being mixed. Now, like some of the good with the book, I really liked the character of Rhapsody again. I really like her interactions with Ash, her husband, in this book. I really like the stuff with Grunther in this book. He's delightful. He's great in small doses, and I loved the small doses of him in this book. I just really liked seeing Rhapsody's backstory, which we've seen before in the previous books, but it comes back to haunt her in this book. And it's a very intense backstory. But it is, I think it is really rich and interesting and makes her such a complex character. And someone from her past, which if you've read the first trilogy, you probably can guess who it is. Someone from her past comes to the present to basically kidnap her. And so the whole book is about this person from her past trying to kidnap her, and then her trying to escape, and then it's all about everyone else reacting to it. There's also some political stuff going on with this book where Ash and Rhapsody have basically become like Lord and Lady in charge of the entire continent, basically, and so all the different lands around Navarre obey them and follow them. It's kind of like a democratic monarchy almost. Anyway, and so you're seeing some political stuff happening. And some of that political stuff was interesting. But to me, it was only interesting if Rhapsody or Ash or Ahmed or Grunther were in the book. There were all these minor characters who were in the book, and some of them had POVs. And when any of them were, I'm not talking about the villain, which was a separate storyline, but any of the minor political characters were present in this book, it was so boring, and I just didn't care for any of them, and I didn't feel like they had as developed voices or developed styles or developed themes with their stories, and so I just didn't care about any of these secondary characters who also have POVs. If Haydn had stuck with just having POVs for your main 4, Rhapsody, Ash, Ahmed, Grunther, and then having the villain, so if the 5 of them had POVs and no one else in this book, it would have been a terrific book. It also would have been a lot shorter, which I think it should have been. And the books 5 and 6, so the next 2 books, are significantly shorter than this one. And so I don't know whether Elizabeth Haydn realized that, or I'm curious to see where the series goes. I for certainly will continue the series, because the next 2 books aren't too long, and I already have them on my shelves, and I've already personally committed to them. But I was so disappointed that the book is so mixed because it has such great potential. There are some scenes in this book that are just so visually interesting. I'm not a visual reader generally. I'm just give me the story. I'm not trying to picture stuff in my mind. Sometimes that happens. There were some really cool visuals and some great themes about parenthood, themes about responsibility, themes about marriage, themes about duty to society. There were some great themes in here, but it was all undercut by these other political plot lines that just weren't interesting. And perhaps it might be interesting to other people, which might be why this series was successful, but it didn't work as well here. If I had to say, I think I like this book a little bit better than Prophecy, but I mean, this book is nowhere near on the level of, say, Rhapsody and Destiny, which are top-level fantasy novels for me. And so, personally, what I would say is, I will read the next two books, and if they're stellar, I might change my mind. But as of right now, I'm leaning to a recommendation of saying, give Rhapsody a chance. If you like this book, read the trilogy. I'm not sure if continuing on is necessary, because I think it was pretty obvious that Hayden had an idea for the original trilogy, and then decided to continue on and do another trilogy afterwards, because it's pretty obvious that this is the start of a new trilogy, a start of a new story, that she had wrapped everything up she intended to in the first trilogy. Well, not everything. There's like this is a continuation of one minor plot thread, but it's pretty obvious that this is a new story. So, I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. It had some great moments. It also had some utterly boring parts throughout the book that maybe just be like, I just want to get to the cool part, just get me to the cool part. And maybe this was Elizabeth Hayden being influenced by The Wheel of Time, which was expanding its many characters, or Game of Thrones, which was also expanding its many characters around the time that this was releasing, but it really should have just honed in on the main five, and it would have been spectacular. And I'm just really disappointed that it didn't do that, because 150, 200 pages could have been cut from this book and it would have been amazing. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Requiem for the Sun. If you've read this book or any of Elizabeth Hayden's books, let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Please subscribe to the channel. Please consider becoming a channel member if you are able to do so. I have special for my contributor level members. I have special weekly updates every week. And then for my fan appreciation level members, we have badges and stickers and all that type of stuff. So please subscribe to the channel, comment, like this video, and until next time, I'm Jonathan, and thank you for watching.